Welcome to day 289 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are sponsored by DeSocial World. I believe today is the last day of our sponsorship with them. They're great guys. Ado's doing great things over there with his team. And thanks again, guys, for this sponsorship. But I do want to cover a few things that DeSocial World has done and what's going on, because it seems like every day there's new news concerning their node. And I was speaking to Ado this morning, and Jordan, the creator of DiamondApp, actually accepted a pull request by two of the team members of DeSocial World, Erwin Williams and Tuan V. And that it's essentially they're giving DiamondApp their translations that they've been working on, and they're completely open sourcing them. So anyone who creates a node is going to be able to use the translations that DeSocial World has created, which is awesome in my opinion. And it's funny because I was at DiamondApp this morning, and I just browsing around. I clicked on more on the sidebar. There's a menu, and if you click on more and then settings, you'll see a toggle box or a drop down box for language, and you can already change the DiamondApp language settings from English to French or to Dutch. So I assume this came from DeSocial World. I assume more languages will be coming as well. And the other great thing is that DeSocial World open source this, but it's also on GitHub. So the entire DeSo community can iterate upon the translations, make them better, add additional translations, and even create translations for other languages. So this is great for DeSo as it expands worldwide. And I look forward to seeing how it's implemented by other nodes.
Yeah, and like you said, I think this is how we help how we can onboard the international community. We as English speaking people, we have to remember that the majority of the world does not speak English. So I think this is a great step in the right direction. I love that DiamondApp is integrating these features, and I think it's definitely going to help bring more people on board for sure.
Yeah, so let's get to some of the news. Yesterday, Nader made a post, Brian. What did that post say?
Yeah, so he basically he's asking the community to suggest an NFT that he can use for his profile picture. He said that he wants to do NFT as profile picture, asked for suggestions. He got lots and lots of suggestions. It's going to be interesting to see which NFT he chooses. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, whatever he chooses is going to be a great advertisement for that NFT project. So good luck to whoever's out there. Additionally, there's a photography contest going on. Photographer's Corner, the DeSo account, launched their first photography contest of 2022. And I know you did some research about this. You know more about this than me. Probably. Do you want to talk about that, Brian?
Yeah, Brutal actually contacted me this morning about it. So I wanted to make sure we fit it in because I don't want Brutal being too brutal to us later on. But yeah, so Striga and Brutal were in communication. Striga actually challenged Brutal to create a grid view website for all of the entries into the photo contest. But let me first talk about the contest. $130 is being given away. The theme is street photography. So anything fitting into the street photography theme can be submitted. The contest is going to end on January 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's 12 a.m. Atlantic time, I believe. Or you know what? I'm trying.
Eastern time.
I might have the time wrong.
Are you saying Eastern time or what's Atlantic time?
No, so Atlantic time is 1 hour ahead of Eastern time. But it says 12 a.m. So that might actually be 11 p.m. Eastern time. Either way, maybe somebody can reply and give the right time. I'm a little confused because of the time zones. But the photo must be your own work. You must, in the post of the photo, add the hashtag street photography, and you must tag the photographer's corner account. So at photographer's corner, and you'll be submitted. And if it's in by January 9th, then you are going to be entered and you can win one of 6 prizes ranging from $10 to $50, $130 total. But like I was mentioning in the beginning, Striga challenged Brutal to create this grid view. Brutal did it within an hour. The website that you can see this grid view of all the contestants' photos at is photographycontest netlify, netlify.app. APP. So check that out. Brutal did a great job. He said that only one API call is done via Tines node. So all the data is synced to the DeSo blockchain. Really cool. Check it out because it's a great way to view images from DeSo. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing the community aspects of DeSo come together. Contests like this really bring people together. There's so many photographers that entered. Great content as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great photographers out there on DeSo. Some come to mind, like Michelle Lord, and who else? Who am I missing? I know there's several of them, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now.
I know
There's a lot
Jody
of great
Bossert.
photographers. Who's that?
There's a lot. I mean, there's like a laundry list of them all.
Yeah, so it's gonna be great to see what comes of this, and I love looking at different photography. But also yesterday, the first prototype of DeSoRacing by Thorsten was released. And if you don't know Thorsten, he's one of the super active developers on DeSo. It seems like every day almost he has a new project he's working on. I can't even keep up with them all. But DeSoRacing is a game, and it's a game that lets you race against the ghost of other DeSo users. So when I say ghost, I mean, so I could have a race, I'm just racing by myself. But if Brian comes along and races after me, he wants to beat my previous time. So he'll see my ghost racing along with him. He can't hit into my ghost. He can't have an accident of my ghost. So it's completely fair, just as fair for him as me, but he's racing against my ghost. So his goal is to beat my time. And over the course of, as this game goes, you're gonna be racing against the top ghost. So the ultimate goal is to have a daily contest where you can win money. The top leaderboard will reset every day, and the top person will end up winning the pot. And they're kind of working on ideas on how the pot will be created. Will it be based on buying a creator coin of DeSoRacing? Will it be based on inserting a coin essentially, or putting money into the game every time you play? They're still working out some of those details, and they're also looking for feedback from the community. They also have interesting ideas for the future. They want to add more tracks, maybe even have a 3D version of the game. That's probably iterations and iterations down the line. And they might do weekly and monthly prizes as well for the top weekly and monthly leaderboards. I think it's a great idea. I think it's fun. I was checking it out. It's really fun. The prototype allows you to race 3 laps on a single track right now, but I assume it's going to become more and more intricate as the full version of the game comes out.
Yeah, I love the idea. I love engaging with the community. This is something that could really push DeSo forward. And I love that there's more than one game under development right now that we know of. Thorsten's doing a great job. Like Ed said, he's thinking about maybe making the founder award, making users have to own the DeSoRacing coin before they play, and then that founder award can go into the prize pool, and then an entry fee could also be used to go into the prize pool. Of course, they would take a small cut for the work they're doing for development. But I think this is a great game of skill that could really get interesting and fun. And I love the idea of racing against the ghost of the highest score, because you don't have to have another player online to play them. You're basically playing against the highest score, and it's all computerized. So love it. I think we're going to see more games like this come about, and I hope that Thorsten can kind of move this forward rapidly, because I'm excited about playing.
Yeah, and I think that's all the news we have today. I know tomorrow there's a big clubhouse room going on. It's being held outside of DeSo, but it's being held by people who are really interested in decentralized social media and Web3. This woman, I can't remember her name, Alexandra, I believe. She held a room last week, I believe, and I went in there. And there were very few DeSo people there because they weren't really aware of the room, but it was a great room. I think if we can get a lot of people from DeSo going into that clubhouse room, maybe even some people like Nader or Alex Velatis or Megan Vita, and kind of providing input and information about DeSo, the blockchain, I think it would be great, because there's these people know a lot about Web3, but they don't know a lot about the DeSo blockchain, and they're making a lot of assumptions that aren't exactly accurate. A lot of people from DeSo were there, not as many as I would have hoped last week, to kind of fill in the blanks and kind of make corrections when misnomers were made or, misconceptions were made about DeSo the blockchain. So it'll be great. Monday, I believe it is at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Clubhouse. We'll have more information tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we'll probably make a post about it and preview it. So be sure to check that out, because the more people from DeSo that can go to that room and kind of stand up and talk about DeSo and talk about the benefits of DeSo and maybe some use cases, it will be great.
Yeah, and I was in that other room, and it's funny because they hold these rooms about decentralized social media, and like right now, the only really blockchain for decentralized social media is DeSo. You could argue that people are building things on Solana, but like these people, they're in these rooms talking about decentralized social, and they actually call it DeSo, but really it's all about these, like it should be about DeSo because nothing else is really existing, and they come to conclusions based on what they think is going to happen with Solana and these other blockchains, when a lot of them don't even realize that DeSo is actually out there and thriving and really developing.
Yeah, so the more people that can go to that room on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, I think the better. Just to let people know that there's this whole community out there that's already on DeSo, on decentralized social. Like Brian said, the room was actually titled DeSo. So I went in there thinking it was somebody on DeSo that was running a room, but it was actually a room about decentralized social, and she just happened to abbreviate it to DeSo. So it was kind of funny. But it's also informative, and you get some other ideas from outside the DeSo blockchain world, I guess you could say.
Yeah, totally not a knock on any of the people in those rooms, because they're like, Alexandra is incredibly intelligent. She's a lawyer, and there's a lot of really smart people in those rooms talking about decentralized social media. It's just that they need to find out about DeSo too, because that's there, and there's a lot to be learned about DeSo as the DeSo the blockchain rather than DeSo the technology.
I think it's important that people go into these other rooms too that aren't, because there's people talking about DeSo, but they're not on DeSo. Like yesterday I woke up at, I think it was 7 in the morning, and I just went on Clubhouse. I'm like, let's see what's going on. And there was a room by Blockchain Gospel about DeSo. And I went in there, and there was like one, I think Jamie was the only other person actually on DeSo on the stage talking. And everybody else up there were kind of dissing DeSo based on just simply reading the white paper. They read the white paper and they're like, oh, this is bull, this is crap. And like so much has changed since the white paper. So I went in there and I kind of explained stuff. And I think people, by the time the room shut down, people were like, okay, maybe there is something to this. So I think it's important that people with knowledge of DeSo, the blockchain, go into some of these rooms that are talking about DeSo, just so that people can kind of see it, not just like people read the white paper and get this vision of, and they think, oh, reserve profile is buying the coin of reserve profile. The same thing that happened with BitClout in the beginning. People come up with these ideas that there's something nefarious about it when there really isn't. But anyhow, I think I rambled on too long about that. But everybody have a great weekend, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Monday.